after the last session. For today, you're going to want some blocks or some fat books or a solid box for our first move, which is a hamstring release. If you haven't got any right now, this release is not essential to do before you do the session, so you can always skip it now and rejoin us at 2 minutes 40 and revisit it later. So put the blocks or books at your toes. You want enough of them stacked high enough that you'll be able to put your hands flat on them without really stretching your hamstrings, because this release works by switching on all the muscles down the front of the body so that the body asks the muscles down the back to let go. So shoulders back and down, stand tall, back of the neck long. We're going to hinge forward from the hip and then fold down with the legs straight. Put your hands on the block. Now this takes focus. Switch on all of the muscles through the front of the thighs and the abs and shorten and pull your upper body down so you can press hard into the block, pressing hard. You should feel your toes want to lift. Really focus on using the front of the body to create that push and slowly release. So adjust your blocks if you need to. This shouldn't feel like a stretch in the hamstrings. Make sure they're high enough. Let's go again. So push down into the block, shortening all the muscles through the front of the body to create that push and pressing as hard as you can. It's quite intense, this. And slowly release. Have a little rest and get ready to go again. So shorten the muscles through the front of the body and push, 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 push. So pushing now quite hard into those blocks or those books. Feel the shortening through the front of the body, breathing normally and gradually release. Now it might be for this last one you can go a bit lower, but don't push it, less is more. So get yourself lined up and get ready to push, 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 push. Shorten through the front of the body, really try and close the front of the body together and breathe and release and roll the body up one vertebra at a time. And when you get back to the top, have a little shake through the legs if you need to, and you can put the books or blocks to one side. So tight hamstrings not only make it hard for us to get our leg to hang long on the horse, they also prevent us getting the best out of our lower ab workout where we use the legs as a weight, and they can give us lower backache. So now let's take the legs wide. And we're going to hinge forward from the hip and then fold down, hands on the mat. Just let gravity do its work here. Let the arms hang heavy, let the head hang heavy, nod the head, shake the head, move through, even circles with the head, sway from side to side through the upper body. Really feeling that release down the back of the body, let gravity decompress the spine. Swaying, stretching out either side. Then take the hands back between the feet, feel the increase in stretch. Nod the head some more, maybe take the head around in little circles. Just feel that neck decompressing. And then take the first hand out in front of the opposite foot, so a bit like playing a game of Twister, and feel that opening down the side of the body. And breathe into the ribs on that side to increase the stretch. And then when you're ready, move back through centre and take the hand out to the other side, so twisting to the other side, and feel the expansion down the side of that body. Breathe big air into the lungs on that side. The lungs on that side, there's only one lung. Into the ribs on that side, and feel the ribs moving apart and expanding with the air. Come back to centre and slowly, slowly roll the body back up. One vertebra at a time, restacking through the spine. Head comes up last. And when you're up, you can walk the feet back into the centre. So now that we've opened up the back of the body, let's release the other muscles, which can reduce the impact of our ab and core work to the front of the hip. So we're going to come to lying on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the mat. So get yourself lined up, get yourself comfortable, make sure everything feels like it's squared off. What we're going to do here is bring one knee up to 90 degrees. Take the hands behind the thigh, flex the foot so the heel is the equivalent of down. Now keep the effort really light here. Use the butt muscle to push the thigh into the hands, and the hands will hold it still, but we only want to push with about 10% effort. So really focus on the butt muscle creating that tiny little flicker of a push, and the hands are just resisting, and release and move through, and reset to go again. So heel ready to push away, and use the butt muscle to create that bit of push into the hands. About 10% effort and about 10% resistance to match it. And just breathe here, keep it light, and softly and gently release, have a little move through. So really keep this pressure light here. So line up, heel pushes away, use the butt muscle to instigate that feeling as if you're wanting to sort of straighten the leg, but doing it from the buttock. Just 10% effort and 10% resistance. And then slowly and softly release, move through. Just one more this side. Set up, heel pushes away, and switch on the butt muscle to make it happen. So you're going for a really sort of a flickering on feeling of the muscles rather than a real push here. And making sure that you smoothly, gradually let it release and move through. Lovely, well done. And let's set up on the other side. So get ready here, get your heel pushing the equivalent of down in the stirrup. And when you're ready, switch that butt muscle on to create that bit of a push into the hands, resist it with the hands, hold the leg steady, and then softly and gently release and move through. And reset. You know the drill, heel pushes away, butt muscle switches on, and 10% effort into the hands, 10% effort to resist it, so everything stays still. Breathing normally, and then gradually ease it off to move through, and reset. So really focusing on triggering the little muscles in the buttock and the seat to create this movement, rather than pushing into your hand with the quad or the thigh muscle. And softly and gently release and move through. Just one more. Heel flexes away and butt switches on. Gently flickering those muscles to life. And breathing down into that hip, thinking softness into the hip. And release. Brilliant, well done. So now we're going to make sure that our muscles are working equally on either side of our SI joint. So it's a similar move, but the resistance is the other way. Again, keep this really light at first. So the first knee comes in towards the chest, as close as is comfy. Doesn't need to be as close as this if that pinches. You're going to push the knee gently into the hands as if you want the knee to go up and over like a rainbow, but the hands keep it still. Keep things light. It's about feeling muscles flickering to work, not working flat out. And softly and gradually release. Okay, so this time we'll go 3 seconds light, 3 seconds strong, 3 seconds light. So off you go, 3 seconds light, 3 seconds push stronger, 3 seconds go light again, and then we will release and reset. So 3 or 4 seconds pushing lightly into the hands, then 3 or 4 seconds pushing harder, then 3 or 4 seconds pushing light again, before we release. Lovely. And onto the other side. So 3 or 4 seconds pushing lightly into the hand, then a few seconds pushing stronger and resisting stronger, then a few seconds light again before we release and go again. So we're really easing gradually into this and gradually off. So we don't want to do anything to shock the muscles. It's sort of the feeling that you're going for. And release. And once more. So light for a few seconds, then push stronger for a few seconds, and then light again before we release. Lovely. Brilliant. Very well done. So place your feet now about a hand's length away from the bum. Make sure that you feel aligned, so your shoulders are down away from your ears and everything feels square. Let's wake up the core and build control of the spine with some bridge roll downs. So what we're going to do here is we are going to inhale into the side and back of the ribs to prepare, then exhale to switch on the bottom abs, tilt the pelvis and start to lift, curling one vertebra at a time up off the mat. And then at the top we inhale before exhaling to roll down one vertebra at a time, placing onto the mat. Brilliant, good job. Now we'll bring in the arms. Inhale to prepare, exhale to tilt and lift, and the arms come with, all with control. Inhale at the top before exhaling to roll back down through the spine, one vertebra at a time. And we're just going to keep moving with that motion. So exhaling to scoop the abs, take the arms, lifting one vertebra at a time, and then controlling with the abs, feeling each vertebra individually return to the mat. Lovely. Inhale to prepare, exhale to scoop the low abs, tilt the pelvis first, rolling up through the chain of the spine. And then inhale at the top before exhaling to use the abs to really control the movements all the way back down. Lovely job, well done. So let's get into those stabilising abs now. So just check you're aligned, nothing's gone squiffy since you've been doing the movement. And what we're going to do here is take the hands and place them very lightly behind the head. Inhale to prepare, core and pelvic floor on, so pull the pelvic floor muscles up. Exhale now to curl one collarbone towards the opposite hip and then control it back down, other side. Exhale to curl the collarbone towards the hip and back down. Just keep going alternate sides here. So the feeling that you're going for with the rhythm of the breath as you inhale to return and exhale to shorten through the front is a shortening between the bottom rib and the opposite hip. So yes, it's a lift. Yes, you want to keep those elbows really wide, but it's the feeling that that collarbone is coming towards the hip and the rib, the bottom rib on that side is coming towards the hip. Brilliant. So just a few more. Just moving with the breath, getting into a rhythm here, feeling that shortening. And it's such great exercise for stabilising us against all the forces that we feel on the horse. So this time I want you to hold at the top just for a few seconds and come back down on the other side. We're going to curl and we're going to hold, and inhale back down. And back to the other side, curl and hold, and inhale back down. Just keep going with that rhythm. Really feeling the abs hold you up at the top. Keep those elbows wide, keep those collarbones wide. Just one more each side. So exhale to curl and hold. Think of that bottom elbow going back and return. And last one, exhale to lift and hold. And inhale to return back down. Brilliant, well done. So check in with your alignment again, make sure nothing's walked anywhere. And we're just going to do a few now straight. So have your hands down by your sides for this one. It does make it a little bit easier, I think, to achieve the curl. So inhale to prepare, exhale, abs on, lift and reach, fingers to the shins, and up you come, and inhale back down. Exhale to curl up and reach, inhale back down. So keep going in that rhythm. So here, again, the feeling that you're going for is that shortening between the bottom ribs and the hips. So it's less of a sort of launching yourself up and getting as high as you can, and very much about shortening through the front of the body. And just move with the breath here. It's a really great one to get into the habit and the pattern of breathing, because it can take a bit of practice. So exhale to shorten the front of the body, inhale to return. Exhale to exert, inhale to release. Lovely. Super. So bring the knees in now and hug them into the chest. So ideally by lifting one at a time and then the other. And we're going to work the lower stabilising abs now using our legs. This is why we loosened off the hamstrings. So from here, we're going to take the legs up to 90, heels together, toes apart, knees soft if you need to. We're going to exhale to lift up, arms reach long, and then first the right leg will lower only as far as you can control it and return. Abs are doing all of the work here and return. We're going to go to 6, sit one out if you need to, drop the head, neck and shoulders and have a rest for one if you need to, but keep it modest, keep it in the abs, not in the hips, and keep those abs switched on. Last one. Lovely. And release everything back down. These are tough, but just do what you can. Heel in, toe out, and soft knees will help. Okay, so keep the knees soft if you need to. So in a moment, we're going to go again with the leg on the other side. So inhale to prepare, reset the legs, exhale, head, neck and shoulders up. Now the other leg comes down, only as far as the abs can hold it, and return. Heels together, toes apart if you can feel this in your hip flexors, and bend the knees a little if you can feel it in your quads. And just breathing here, holding through the abs. Last one. And release everything back down. Brilliant, well done. Those are not easy, but as I say, do what you can. This is how we get stronger. So now take your feet back to the mat. We're going to start preparing towards the classic Pilates move, the teaser. And for this, you want to imagine your arms scoop along the mat as far as they can and then come up. So we'll do it with just one leg up first. Obviously, the full version has both legs up. Toes point away. Inhale as the arms hover parallel with the mat. Exhale, abs on, scoop through and lift, and then inhale to curl back down. Can have both feet down if you need to. Exhale to scoop, inhale back down. So really taking the hands long and through before you come up. Lovely, just one more on this side. And curl back down. Have a little rest here, foot back down, roll out through the neck. And then we'll get ready to set up on the other side. So toes point away, arms hover long, inhale to prepare, exhale to scoop and then come up, and inhale back down. Exhale to scoop long and up, and inhale back down. 2 more, exhale to scoop long and up, inhale back down. Last one, exhale to scoop long and up, and inhale back down. Brilliant, well done. Foot down, roll back out through the neck again. Brilliant. So the last one in this little series for our stabilising muscles around the waist, so that we can stay sitting tall when we're turning our shoulders to turn the horse and stop collapsing in the middle. You're going to check you're aligned, shoulders are down, hands slightly wide. Lift the legs up into tabletop, switch on your low abs, and we're going to use the abs here to control this movement. So inhale to prepare, exhale to use the abs to tick-tock the knees over to the right first of all, and then smoothly back to centre, tick-tock them slightly to the left, hold through the abs in control, keep the move tiny, back to centre, and breathe in a rhythm. So exhale the abs on for the effort and inhale to return to centre. And really focusing here on the lower abs doing all of the work to stabilise you and only moving as far as you can, keep full control over the legs and the lower back with those abs. So even if you're only moving a centimetre or two either way, that's absolutely fine. Correct is better than big. And just moving with control and precision, really working into those low abs. We're nearly there. Focusing on which muscles you're using. Last round. And using the abs to bring the knees back to center. Brilliant, well done. Pop the feet back down. Well done. That series was not easy. Have a little roll up through the neck. And we're going to move to side lying now to get at our stabilizing abs from a different perspective and to really build our lateral stability on the horse. So come to side lying. First up, we're going to start with the knees bent up towards sort of 90, the head on the arm. We're going to open up that pesky pec minor so that we can get our chest open, our shoulders back. Top arm reaches to the ceiling. Plug the shoulder blade down and in towards the spine, slotting it into a pocket. Then angle the arm towards the ear and let the arm come back. So here, just breathe into the stretch that you should be feeling through the front of the armpit, maybe through the front of the shoulder and into the chest. Sort of running, little muscle feels like it's running from the front of the arm through the front of the armpit into the back of the boob. Have a play with the angle of the arm so that you can get the stretch into the right place. And just let the weight of the arm and the breathing and the softening that you're visualising into that area really enable that area to open up. And then release and bring your hand back down. So now you can get yourself into classic side lying. So line up along the back of the mat, bum in line with the shoulders and feet off towards the opposite corner. Some tone in the waist, so creating space between you and the mat under your waist here. Head on the arm or up on your hand if your neck's okay with that. First, forward and back kicks. So top leg is going to lift, toes point, rotate, top of the foot to the ceiling. We're going to exhale to kick long to the front and pulse, and inhale to kick long to the back and pulse. So keep moving with the breath here. Feel the abs kick on at the front and the glute kick on at the back. And you really want to be honest with yourself here that those hips are staying stable. So keep an eye on them. You can put a hand on them to feel it. But really focusing on all of that movement being in the hip, but the pelvis and hips themselves staying completely stable. So only kick as far as you can do that. It does help to pop a hand on that hip if you can manage it with the stability, just to feel what's going on there. And really feeling going back far enough to fire up the glutes and coming forward far enough to fire up the low abs. And last one. And pulsing back. Brilliant. And then take the foot back to stretch out the front of the hip and the front of the thigh. So that little extra pulse that we do at the front and back of those kicks is just double checking that we're not using momentum to get there, but making sure that we trigger and fire those muscles to get that leg into position. So just breathe into the front of the hip, feel the softening. And when you're ready, you can let that leg release. Get yourself aligned now with the legs more back in line with the body. Have a hand in front ready to stabilise you. So the top leg is going to lift, heel pushes away. Doesn't need to be this high, but if you can, great. You know what's coming. Bottom heel is going to push away. Inhale to prepare and exhale to lift. So bottom leg comes up to meet the top leg, and we're going to exhale to lift and inhale to return. Exhale to lift, inhale to return. Keep that bottom heel pushing away. Just one more like this. Lovely, and release the top leg back down. Brilliant. Double check that you feel stable, and that front hand is ready to stabilise you. We're going to lift both, but only twice. Inhale to prepare, exhale to lift. Inhale to prepare, exhale to lift. Fabulous. Well done. Brilliant. So those are tough, so we're just going to do a couple, but we've got to introduce them sometime. So come up onto the elbow now for some side plank action. Knees bent if you want to be on your knees, or feet split if you want to be on those, or you can stack them if you want to show off. So make sure your elbow is on or inside the shoulder line. We are going to choose our level, and then inhale to prepare, exhale to lift, and we're going to twist through to tap the mat. And back up, and twist to tap, and back up. Just keep going with that movement. Keep those hips lifted, hips reaching for the ceiling. One more. Lovely, and lower back down. Brilliant. So come to your knees if that was too much. I'll show you from here, or stick with your knees if that's where you were. Inhale to prepare, exhale to lift, 5 taps. So reaching through, keeping those hips lifted as you twist through the body. Up, 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 reaching for the ceiling, and release. Lovely. One last set. So again, choose your level. Have a go at a higher one if you fancy. Get yourself set up. We are going to inhale to prepare, exhale to lift, and 5 taps. So reaching through, lifting those hips, pushing the hips up towards the ceiling, up, up, up towards the ceiling. Great job, and release back down. Lovely. And come over to stretch out that side, breathe into the ribs and the waist on that side, and really expand through that side of the body. Fabulous. So release the stretch, and you can swing the legs round to set up on the other side. So starting from the beginning of the series, so you've got the knees bent comfortably, head on the arm, we're going to open up through the chest and get the shoulders back. So make sure you're sort of upright on your side, if that makes sense. Top arm reaches the ceiling, plug the shoulder blade down and into the pocket, and then bring the arm towards the ear, and then take the arm back. So the shoulder stays where it is, the head stays where it is, it's just the arm that goes back, and we're using the weight of the arm to bring that stretch through the front of the shoulder and into the chest. Breathe here and let gravity do its work. Of course, have a play with the angle of that arm, see if it feels more beneficial bringing it closer to the ear or further away from the ear. Normally it does need to be slightly above shoulder height, but just go with what feels good to you. And breathe and imagine softness from the breath coming into those muscles and allowing them to release. And release the arm back down. So extend the legs into your more classic side lying position, head up on the hand if you would like, and we're going to move into the forward and back kicks. So top leg lifts, toes point to rotate, top of the foot to face the ceiling, and exhale to kick long to the front, and inhale to kick long to the back. Exhale to kick long to the front, and inhale to kick long to the back. I'm laughing because of my bottom leg waving around. Don't worry too much as you just keep going with the rhythm of the breath. If that bottom leg does want to wave around a little bit, provided you're not getting unstable through the hips, the priority here is to get that top leg into the position that it needs to be to really fire the abs at the front and the hips at the back, and sometimes that will give you a bit of a wobble in the bottom leg. Lovely, great job. So just keep moving with the exhale to the front and the inhale to the back. Focus on the feeling in that top hip. Does it feel like it's staying still and stable? Just one more. And all of the movement is coming from the hip. Lovely. And then take the foot back to stretch out through the front of the hip and the front of the thigh, and take some deep breaths here to just imagine, visualize the air going down into those muscles and asking them to soften. So these are such a great way to get into the stabilizing muscles of the lower abs, and they also really effectively mimic the stabilizing challenge that we have when we're in the saddle, because the forces come at us from below more so than they come from anywhere else, from below and from the side. So release the stretch and get the legs more back in line with the body. Have that hand in front of you ready to stabilize. Top leg is once again going to lift up to around about hip height if you can. Bottom leg, heel pushes away, and we're going to inhale to prepare, exhale to lift, and inhale back down. Exhale to lift, inhale back down. So moving with the breath. If your legs aren't going as high as this is absolutely fine. Go with where your legs feel right today. This is a tough one. Last one like this, and release them both back down. Double check you're stable, and get ready to do the double. Inhale to prepare, and exhale to lift, inhale back down. Just one more. Exhale, abs on to lift, and inhale back down. Brilliant, well done. So those are tough. If you're only moving a centimetre or a couple of millimetres, that is absolutely fine. We're going to come up now to some side plank. So come up onto your elbow. Remember your options: knees bent, feet stacked, or feet split, and make sure your elbow is on the inside of the shoulder line or just below the shoulder. Choose your level. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to lift and twist through to tap and reach, tap and reach, lifting those hips up, 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 up towards the ceiling as much as you can, just the 5, before we come down for a little rest in between. And come to your knees now if that was too much, so I'll show you from there, so I'm even with what I did on the other side. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to lift and tap, and we're going to 5 again. Focus on keeping those hips really lifted, really reaching them towards the ceiling. Last one, and release back down. Lovely, good job. Just one last set of this side plank. We're so nearly there. So inhale to prepare, exhale to lift, and 5 twist and taps. Push those hips up towards the ceiling, really using every second of this exercise for maximum benefit, and release back down. Brilliant, great job. Come up to sit on that hip and reach that stretch over. Really feel that stretch through the side of the ribs and the side of the waist. Breathe into the ribs to expand. Feel the ribs, visualize the ribs moving apart, feel the waist lengthening, and release. Brilliant. So that's a really tough session. Some of those progressions are really difficult, so don't worry if you're finding them hard right now. Do what you can, move small, be precise, sit out a rep if you need a rest. Your strength will build really quickly once we've got the right muscles activated, which is why we do the releases and stretches along the way. So well done, and I'll see you next session.